Belgium can thrive.
Hello everyone, good evening from Tokyo. We are safe, don't worry about coronavirus. Tonight I have a great pleasure to speak with Tamara, who is based in Switzerland, Europe. Tamara, good evening or good afternoon in your case. Thank you so much for being part of personal branding program community, and thank you for this interview. So please, can you share a little bit more about you and what is your story?
Okay. So good evening and good afternoon, and thank you for having me on this interview, Edward. I'm so happy to be with you here today and share a little bit about my journey. So yeah, about my story. Well, it's a long story. It started when I was very, very young. Before I was 20 years old, I came one day at home and I said to my parents, I'm going to have a boutique. And my parents just turned to me and said, like, nobody ever did that in our family. So that was like the first, like the first idea I perceived from outside when it comes to having that entrepreneurial surge in me. But it kind of like continued growing in me. And one day at the university in Macedonia, I was sitting in the hall after there was like 2 hours of exam, and I was preparing myself for maybe a month for that exam, right? Studying, memorizing theory that is, like from the 1980s, that it's no more valuable, right? And I was like exhausted and just looked around, and it was like a semesters, right? In ex-Yugoslavia, it had those types of events. And I looked outside, it was dark, it was cold, and around me, people were lifeless, right? They were like all gray and sad. And I was like, am I going to do this for the years of my life, right? That was the question that hit me. And I didn't know what it meant right back then because I didn't have the practical experience that I have today. But it was a sign to do something differently, right? So then I had, continue doing the studies because that's what my parents were expecting from me. Find a job, high paying job. You have the intellect. You can find, like a job in economy, in law. That was like the perspective. And then I had, like the opportunity to meet my today husband, right? So we met in Macedonia, and that relationship kind of built up, and I moved to Switzerland, right? So I was again making that professional choice and seeing like where am I going from here, right? And then I had the opportunity to either choose economy and go back another 5 years in the system, studying for the same title I had from the previous, from my previous experience, or will I pursue my passion, right? And then I decided I will go all in fashion design. And again, in Switzerland, I don't know if you guys know, in Switzerland, everything has to be formatted. You have to have a title for everything that you're doing, right? So again, in order to be able to open my practice,
I'm from Japan, so I know how do you feel.
Everything has to have, like a stamp, a date, approval. You have to have approval for everything. So my only choice was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back again and study the same thing I was studying in my country for another 5 years, plus the language and so on and so forth, and starting from a scratch with zero passion, right? Or am I going to really follow this urge of realizing something of my personal experience, something that was in me, right? And because I was very creative, and that's again, like that, I don't know if you have read the book, the E-Myth, right? The technician who wants to become entrepreneur, right? So that was the seizure of the technician. Because I was good in art and I was good in creative, I thought, okay, I can go in fashion design and transfer my design into business, which kind of worked very well because in Switzerland, I managed to create a brand that started to take off very, very well. I moved everywhere in Europe with my collections, fashion shows. I was invited back in Macedonia to represent them because I made a collection that was representing my traditional culture, and it was transferred into the today's ready-to-wear clothes, right? So it was very ethnic and modern in the same time. So I was, invited as a guest on a yearly event that is celebrating culture and art and design, and it was like a very, very beautiful moment. But I caught myself thinking one day, I was like sitting in my atelier and I was like, okay, so I'm working 6 months in the dark, working from 4 a.m. to, to very, very late in the night. And the only thing I'm doing, I'm catering to someone's ego because those collections were sold at higher price, right? And the world of the fashion is very, very dynamic, but in the same time has maybe a dimension that we don't talk a lot, but when you see, like what's happens in the industrial level, the way the clothes are produced, the cartels, financially, everything, you're like, okay, so, how are you going to compete with this, how can I say, the dark side of the fashion and this creative side of being an entrepreneur and having my own brand, right? And then I decided, like, I don't feel that I'm growing as a person anymore. I feel like I got to a plateau, and that was like, oh, okay, so now what I'm going to do, right? And I felt empty. I felt this desire to build myself up, to learn new things, to grow my mind, to develop myself personally, to learn new skills, and to go a step further. And when you are ready for a change happens. And that's when I started into direct sales because one of my passion was health and wellness at that point, still is, but I'm not active as a direct sales. And I started in direct sales, right? So nobody from my fashion world wanted to be part of what I was doing, right? So now you have this image of the designer. Everybody wants to take photos with you. Everybody wants to come to your fashion show. And now you have a direct sale person. And now you have a conflict. And now you have like this fight with yourself. And you're like, oh, nobody wants to be part of me. It's something is wrong with me, right? And you start to build up yourself again up. And from a scratch, with nobody outside my fashion world, and of course, like learning the French language while I was in studies and then, like building this business, I built a very strong organization of representatives, sales reps, and also a very huge base of clients all in a year and a half. And I did it like belly to belly, all, in a traditional way, going to meetings, meeting people, talking to people on the bus station, in the gym, everywhere, right? So that was like a very growth experience for me. But it was not enough because I felt I was sacrificing my time and still I didn't, acquire the skills I wanted to acquire. I still didn't feel aligned. I still didn't feel that I'm doing more than just like I see kind of having a job. I didn't have leverage. I didn't have systems. I didn't have anything perspective, predictability in my business. I didn't know how. I knew how to do things for myself, but I could not repeat that process for the people I was putting inside of the organization because after a couple of months they would leave, they would go away, right? They don't know how to make money. It's very demanding for them, putting all these hours of work and working, belly to belly, the traditional way was not what people wanted, especially here in Switzerland where they have a little bit of comfort financially. Going out and, making those extra money was just not enough for them. And I decided to move forward. I decided to move on the online world. And that's when the roller coaster started again. So I started from scratch, learning social media marketing. First with the idea to build successful network marketing business online, but then my vision exploded when I saw what's possible in the social marketing world. I was like, this is something that I want to go very, very deep. Then, of course, maybe I was just looking the other day, over $60,000 invested in education in the last few years. I finally fine-tuned what I want to do, success and failures, right, in different companies with different associations and so on and so forth. I finally fine-tuned that into a mentorship program. And now I'm like in a very, very happy place with doing what I'm doing. So maybe we will dive into that in a while. So that was like the big story.
All right, Tamara, it looks like your life is a video game. You are just finish one level and you go to the next level and to the next level. Once when you know the rules in this level, you find, okay, maybe I want to do something else. So amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, you invest money in yourself, but because of that, you are who you are today. So can you share what wakes up you in the morning now and what kind of projects you are currently involved?
So why I wake up in the morning, and I wake up very happy and happy to take action and to show up to serve others, is I managed to package my knowledge into a mentorship program where I help coaches, experts, service providers to package their own knowledge, and most importantly, how to monetize that. Because what's happening is people develop skills, and I was one of them. People develop high income skills, maybe closing, maybe building funnels, maybe writing blogs or whatever it is. But then they don't know the next step. They just don't know how to go and, not build a brand. I'm not talking about brand. We will talk about that in a while. But go and find clients that will pay for something that it's transformational to these people. Because every business has a need. We know that. Problem that needs to be solved, right? Every business. So we know, if you're an entrepreneur, you know that. And even the most successful business has a next level. And, there is always something that needs to be improved in every business. So what wakes me up in the morning is like, I want to help this person package their knowledge, be the go-to person, help them understand who their market is, how to craft a message that speaks to a specific audience who is already looking at their products and services, and marry those two things. And, make bridge that gap where people are, paid to the value they can deliver to the market because they are catering to the right audience, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where my expertise is now. That's where I'm putting my efforts. And, this is super exciting when I see people for the first time believing in themselves, that their skills and their knowledge can be profitable, that they're not, condemned to be paid a couple of $100 and that's it. And then someone else, a third party, takes the bigger chunk of the commissions and so on and so forth, or working for someone, because I have the experience in network marketing and in affiliate programs. When something goes wrong in the company, someone can pull the rug from underneath you, right? So if you don't have the skills, if you don't have that knowledge, it's very, very difficult to get back on your feet and do something of value, right? So having that security to rely on your competence, I think it's one of the best sources that anybody can have if you have a skill and if you want to develop the skill. So yeah, that's my motivation every single day.
And Tamara, who are the people you are working with? Who are your ideal clients? And can you also share how you are helping them to achieve the results they want, how they monetize their business?
Yes, of course. Well, as I said, it's between marketing and packaging their knowledge. So everybody who is a coach, who they have maybe a program, but it's not optimized. They're getting a couple of $100 and they are struggling with these clients from hell, like people not paying, not being committed, not doing the work that the coach is supposed to give them to work, right? And then results are lacking. And it's like a decreasing curve, right? They're very, very excited. They get their clients and then, no results, no money, and it declines, right? So I help these coaches, to optimize their offers and then revisit the market, find their unique voice and positioning, and then giving them strategies to land those high-paying clients, right? Which evolves around having a very specific marketing message and a process to land those clients. The same goes for those who are totally new. They have some kind of knowledge, but just don't know how to package it. So we're going to work on extracting those competences and packaging that, and then, following the proven process and helping them get, whatever their goal is.
And you are now based in Switzerland, and your business, how it works, what is the strategy? You are reaching out to the people offline, online? Is your market Europe, global market? So how do you find the clients, or how clients find you?
Yeah, that's very good question, because how I work 100% online. So that was my desire when I was transitioning from the offline world to the online world. I work 100% online, and I find my own audience through knowing who I'm serving and the marketing content I'm putting outside. Also the outreach methods that I teach and I practice, right? So this is how I find my audience and how people find me. And this is going to be very, aha moment, and very, how can I say, contra-intuitive for a lot of people, because everybody has been taught to build a brand, to build a website, to build a funnel, to build a group, to build this, to build that, which is all cool. Email marketing is cool. Everything is super. It's awesome. but not before you're hitting a consistent level of maybe 10, 20K per month. And why am I saying that? Because from previous experiences and working with people who have burned themselves is because they want to skip the phases, right? They want to go a step further and start having automated sales and people booking calls, in a leveraged way. That's all possible and that's all good. But if you don't know who you are serving, if you don't know how to find your clients by yourself and always predict your income, how are you going to transfer that message in a bigger scale, right? So what I teach my clients is not waste any time and energy on building this second phase of the development of their business, but mostly concentrate on being on organic social media marketing, being present on the social media platforms, connecting with people, and then, having a killer offer that transforms people's lives and, showing people what's possible. So very, very simple, very straightforward and very transformational and very lucrative for people who are, ready to really do the work, because this is not for lazy people. This is not for people who want leverage, who want automation right away. That's something we do once we know how to bring high-paying clients. We know who these people are. We know how to deliver results, and then we go to the next level. So yeah, people find me on social media very, very easily, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. Yeah.
Sure, that sounds amazing. So that's basically what you mentioned is a way to go start with clients to develop some product or service. Once when you have a social proof offline, you can transform your business to online and make a scale. And I think for all people in our community, we all know that lazy people, they don't belong to call themselves entrepreneurs, because we need to do our work, our job first, to get clarity about the people who are we serving and about the product or service who are actually people are willing to buy because they need. Okay, that's very cool. And Tamara, what is the vision of your business in 2020 and maybe in the next few years? And how do you see your team? Are you planning to build a company, or you already have a company? So can you share a little bit more about your plans for the near future?
That's lovely. So at this point, I'm focused on delivering results for my clients, which is very, very transformational. Next level would be scaling my company and putting those systems into place and having a mobile team working with me, and that's all laid out. That all those phases are following. So that would be for my own company, which doesn't stop me for helping people and meeting them where they are and, transferring the strategies to them. Because I honestly believe that you don't have, everybody has their own vision about how much money it's enough, right? And where you feel that the moment when I won't be able to deliver the results I deliver to my people, I know it's a moment to grow. It's a moment to delegate. It's a moment to put other, systems and people in what I'm doing. So at this moment where I feel that I can still give 200% to the people I'm taking them through this journey, right? Then when that happens, I know the next level is putting the systems in place and then having a little bit more automation, moving myself more from the business and having people who are onboarding. But that's for the end of the year, maybe in the next 18 months. So right now I'm available for my people and I'm enjoying this process.
Sounds great plan for the future. And Tamara, because this is also community for female entrepreneurs, business owners, but also for working moms and people who are maybe struggling to find the balance between all of these tasks which modern lives brings. How do you re-energize yourself? How you motivate yourself on a daily basis to keep going, to put the contact, to find the clients, to help clients to grow? And at the same time, you are in a relationship, so you have also some your private life and also social life, and also you want to re-energize yourself. It looks great. So how do you successfully do all of this?
I love this question, and I hope that my answer will give some encouragement and maybe a different perspective to think about to the women listening, and for you as a host asking this question. So for me, everything stems from your self-image. So what I mean by that, if you feel and you know that you will be able to have optimized social life, optimized relationship, optimized health, optimized business, optimized whatever it is, you can have that. And it's only a question of connecting, like what is it that you really want and putting that in your schedule. So I'm not perfect. And I have moments when I feel like, oh, I just don't want to do that. But then I know that it's my emotions that are standing on my way, because my self-image of that says that this person delivers. So you're not that person. And can you live with that? Can you live with looking at yourself in the mirror, right? So that's my philosophy, and it works. When I, when I see myself and I have seen my goals written and I see my accomplishments written, and I repeat that message every morning when I wake up. I do my meditation and I go through my goals, and I see what are the income producing activities I have to do and who I am becoming, and me taking my excuses and saying like, oh, you don't feel like it, just don't go to the gym. Oh, eat that chocolate, right? And then I'm like, oh, okay, but now you're just like letting yourself down. Now you're, like you're going to that curve. You don't see it for a while, but then it's, like it's a big, big fall. So how do you manage to go to that, to that level every single day to execute? And that really stems from my self-image. And I think everybody can build that self-image of self-understanding who I am, what I want in life, how can I get there? Because the how is the easiest part. The strategy is the easiest part. If it was about information, everybody would have been successful. But the idea here is like, okay, how do I connect this like better version of myself to my existence today? And it's living in the moment, doing the things today without projecting yourself like 10 years further, 15 years further. That's all good. But you don't have so much control of that. It can even stress you if you don't do the things that you have to do today. So that would be my and also the starting rituals. I use the starting ritual of Mel Robbins. That's the 5-second rule, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And then when you go and you do the stuff, and you take imperfect action. Doesn't matter. You get better as you go. You improve yourself. You learn from that. You learn from that experience, and then you're just like unstoppable.
This was Tamara, amazing woman, originally from Macedonia. Now she's living in Switzerland. Thank you, Tamara, for sharing your amazing story and your transformation again and again and again, and every time even better version of yourself. I wish you all the best with your online business. I'm quite sure that your clients are very happy with you. And for all of you guys who want to be in hands of Tamara and grow your business, please be free to reach out to her. Thank you, Tamara.
Edward, thank you so much for having me. And for everybody watching this video, I hope you will be encouraged to never, never, never stop chasing, becoming, building yourself. And doesn't matter, don't look at the losses in life, just look what you got from that experience and make it your own and say like, this, nobody can take it from me. I have it, I own it, and I'm better because of that, right? So always look for the next step, always look for being creative. It doesn't have to always evolve around money, but it has to evolve around those building blocks in you that nobody can take away from you, that will help you, reach levels that only if you let yourself to go to that level will be possible. Edward, thank you so much for having me.
Love your energy. Thank you, Tamara, so much, and have a great weekend. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.